Hi everyone, this is Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and today I am making a layout using the July kits. My August ones are nearly here but not quite, so I'm still with July, and I have the main kit, the Pocket Life kit, the Embellishment Kit and the Colour Kit. And this is Mixed Media Monday today, so I'm making a layout using the July Colour Kit and the Mixed Media products there. I'm also supposed to use dies or punches on this layout too, and I don't have many metal dies, so I am sticking with punches. And I was going to use a heart. I had every intention of using a heart punch, and in the end I went for stars, just because why not. You can see the photograph that I have there. It's a photo of my little baby boy who has just had his first birthday, and I really wanted to scrap these photos, or this photo, but the kit this month is really orange and yellow tones, which I love, but that really didn't go with my photo. So I thought I'd make my own background and pattern paper using the mixed media products from the Colour Kit. So I have got a piece of marshmallow cardstock here, and I'm just mixing my Lindy sprays together to make some different greens and different shades of yellows and different shades of blues. So you'll see that I'm basically just creating this mixed media background so that I can then cut it all apart. So this is not going to be the background of my layout. It's just a big old whole sheet, 12 by 12 sheet of mixed media, so that I can then cut it all up later. So the first green that I did there, I mixed the yellow and the blue together, and then I've gone for the blue over on the bottom right hand side, and now I've just gone the straight yellow. So those two are just literally out of the bottles, although they're watered down a lot. So basically I wanted to have lighter shades than the very intense sprays, and I've done that just purely by adding additional water to the sprays. So you can see that I'm putting some on a piece of packaging, and then I'm adding water with my water spritzer bottle thing. That's what I'm doing there. So they were just a little bit, they were very intense, and I just wanted to make them a bit softer, and I love the way it all turns out actually, so I'm pleased that I did it that way. So you can see I'm just carrying on mixing my colours and making different shades. So the first green was like a good mixture of yellow and blue, and then these are more blue with only a very small amount of yellow. Oh, and then I wanted to add some slightly more intense areas, so I've just directly sprayed the two sprays onto my layout. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not quite sure, I really could do some more turquoisey colours. And I remembered that we had two Lindy sprays back, I think they were in the March Colour Kit, I'm pretty sure it was March. I thought I would pull those out and add those to this crazy mixed media background as well. Those two have just come straight out of the bottle. They're already perfect, beautiful colours. There's a green one and a turquoise one. I can't remember their names actually, but I'm sure they were from the March Colour Kit. So yeah, so you can see that some areas there that were a bit very wet still. I've gone over and added some extra splatters of the same colours, and now I'm going in and I'm adding the fabulous Echo Park stencil. I love all those lines, and I'm just grabbing some modelling paste that I had in the previous kit. So where was that from? Maybe January, possibly, I can't really remember, but it was definitely earlier this year. So I'm just a Suprema one, so I'm just literally using that and scraping it all over the background. Cleaning off my stencil in between each application, because I don't want it just needs cleaning in between. The modelling paste starts to dry quite quickly, and then the stencil gets smaller and smaller effectively. So yeah. Oh, I've realised at this point that I've forgotten to add splatters of those two additional colours that I used from the previous colour kits. So I've just gone and added a bit of those colours to my craft sheets, and I'm just picking up with a paintbrush and adding my splatters. So yeah, I don't know, I just seem to forgot to do that, and I seem to have forgotten to do that in other places as well. I normally am the splatters queen, I put them everywhere, but for some reason I kept forgetting them, so I've just gone back and added those. Now the modelling paste is dry, but I'm going to add another layer of modelling paste because I want to do some lines the other way around. So there you go, I've turned my cardstock round, and I'm just going in with the same modelling paste and the same stencil, and I've just turned the paper around so that my lines are going in the other direction now as well. I've got this kind of plaid effect, and I'm doing it in a few different areas on the sheet. I won't do it on everywhere because I'm going to cut this sheet up completely and have lots of small shapes. They end up being stars. They were going to be hearts, but they're definitely going to be stars. I'm going to cut those all out and to make my background using those punched out pieces. So here we go. They have more splatters. That's another time I realised that I didn't have any splatters in yellow. I don't know what's going on with me. Normally I always add them. So I think I'm pretty much done at this point with this background. So I'm just kind of drying that off quickly with my heat tool. Hopefully I won't make you watch this for too long. Not much fun watching somebody dry something with a heat tool. Normally I turn the camera off. Okay, here we come. I'm in with the stars now. Okay, so I am finding it tough to get through this piece of marshmallow cardstock with all this mixed media on top of it using just a regular punch. So I had to stand up and put all my weight behind it in order to get through the paper or the card. I've done some big stars, and I've just done some small stars as well. I've cut my sheet in half there because a lot of the texture was on the inside of the sheet and I couldn't reach it with my punch. So coming in now with another star punch. It's a star confetti punch. I've had it for years. It's by Stampin' Up, I think. And it's a border punch actually, but it just cuts out the most lovely teeny tiny stars. So they were ideal for this. So I now have about a million stars in a pile over there, and I'm going to try and turn them into a layout, and you'll see that I struggle with it in a little while. Anyway, so just going through my background there and punching out a few more stars from the different colours that were in the middle of the sheet, and you can see that I'm having to cut some of the rest of the sheet away so that I can get to those middle sections. Okay, so I have a reasonable good amount of stars there. I love the way they look, so I have all different colours, and just trying something there, just trying with my blue cardstock background. So that was never going to work. I don't know why I even thought about doing it. I just can't use coloured cardstock for backgrounds. It doesn't work. Not for me. I'm sure other people do it and I'm in awe of them, but I just can't do it. Anyway, so now I've got to arrange stars. Now, stars are a tricky thing to arrange because they have all these points and they all bump into each other and they just look a bit crazy if they're too close. I really, really struggled to arrange them. So that was one arrangement. On the screen, it looks a lot better than it did on my table when I was doing it. So now I'm going for uniform rows. I don't like those either. And now I'm kind of aiming for like a diagonal line rather than I had the vertical line before. I'm trying a diagonal line now to see if I can have them kind of like floating across my page. I didn't like that. I've moved them all over to the left hand side, just kind of arranging those. I was trying to go for like colour order, light at the top and darker towards the bottom, but no, I don't like that either. So I turned off the camera and fiddled around a bit more and eventually decided that I would spread them all out around my whole background and do it like this. So space them all out completely and put them on the background like this. So you can see that I had them all arranged but nothing was stuck, so I've decided to go with this design. So I'm literally just putting a tiny amount of tape behind each one, and then I can move them around if I want to. So I have created my own background paper, so my own pattern paper. I freak out, of course, when I put the photo on and remove some of the stars so I have some white space. It was a good idea to start off with. I had the right intentions to make an entire sheet of pattern paper background, but I freak out totally and have to remove some. So what I'm doing now is I'm pulling out all those really lovely, pretty, teeny tiny stars that I punched from the mixed media paper, and I am putting them around the same colour coordinated stars. So I have blue mixed media big star, and then I'm adding all the tiny stars in the same shade around it. So I kind of wanted each one to look like a little star cluster, and to have all these tiny stars come and radiating off of each one. So to start off with, I wasn't sure if I was just going to do this on one or two or three to make kind of features out of them, or if I was going to put it over the whole background. And in the end, I go for the whole lot. Every star has lots of little teeny stars coming out around them. So that is what I do for this background. You'll see that, you know, I'm just kind of going in. I'm still kind of experimenting at this point. Am I happy? And I'm liking the way that it looks. I'm now trying to figure out what else I'm going to do with this layout. I love that yellow, but it's actually slightly different yellow to the yellow stars that I've got. So that ended up being ditched. I'm just, here we go. There's a moment there where I'm like, just can't do it. I just can't have stars all over the entire background, so I have to remove some. Okay, so I remove all the stars from the bottom, so effectively my layout starts at that point and goes up to the top, and that gives me an area of white space underneath, which gives my photo kind of room to breathe away from all of the patterns. So that makes my heart happy. Okay, so I've just mounted my photo on the navy blue paper. That was a Dear Lizzie one in the July kit. It has a pink loop all over it, which is really cute. Yeah, I didn't have any of that navy in the background, of course. I have one deep blue star to the right of my photo, but I didn't have any of that navy, so I was unsure about how much I could include. So I've just done a very small photo mount for now, and I'll see how it goes. You can see that blue banner to the left of my layout. That came in one of the exclusive die cut packs. I think it was in the Embellishment Kit, and they are super lovely. There was about 4 or 5 in a pack, I think, and I haven't managed to use any of them. I think I might have used one, but I've been struggling to use them. I think they're a bit long. I think that, and unless I'm going to have it as a whole feature on my page and I start with it, I keep struggling to fit them in once I've kind of got to a point and my layout's almost done. I'm just adding embellishments afterwards. So you can see how I'm really determined to use that banner because it's just the perfect colours. But you can see that I keep struggling. I've tried it in several different places already, and I think I add a few more. But I do manage to use it on this layout, and I do that by cutting it down, and it's going to be a border and bottom of my photo. So that's how I managed to use that. Right now I am sticking down all those teeny tiny stars. I've just done that by using glossy accents and a paper piercing tool. I've just put a small amount of glue on the end of my tool, and then I move the stars out of the way, put a bit of glue down, and then move the star back into position. So you'll see I kept shaking the layout, and that's to make sure that I've stuck all the stars and there's no loose ones. There you go, there's a couple of loose ones still. And you'll see that some of my stars come off the page, and that's true pattern paper fashion. Generally the pattern continues towards the edge of the paper, and I think it makes the pattern look more realistic if some of it is on the edges. So that's why I've stuck some of my stars on the edges, and I will just trim those off once I'm done. I'm now going through and adding some rainbows. So we have stars, and I think rainbows go beautifully with stars. So I've poured out, that's a Webster's Pages paper that has the tiny rainbows all over it, and I've pulled out the rainbows that are in the correct colours. So the greens, the blues, and there's a navy, and yellow. I use yellow ones too. So I've just cutting some of those out, I think 3 or 4 of each colour, cutting each one out, and just sticking those in between the stars on my layout wherever I have gaps. So my little background's kind of coming on nicely. All my rainbows are now in place. And I'm just going to sort of continue adding bits and pieces. I will add more to the background as well, but at the moment I'm just kind of really liking how it's looking. Obviously, you would never have thought that you could get this colour scheme from the July kits, because when you look at the July kits, the overpowering colour is the orange and peach and yellow colours. That colour palette is so beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favourites. But I was just so determined to scrapbook this photo. And it does show how versatile these kits are, that if you have any photo, you don't have to use the colours that immediately jump out at you from looking at the kit as a whole. You can pull out the bits that suit you and work. And certainly with the mixed media, you can mix any colours you like. Okay, so I've just pulled out a bit more of that mixed media paper, the few offcuts that I had left. I wanted to bring a bit more of the solid colour in, and I've just cut a strip for each side of my photo. So that brought that greeny, yellowy, greeny colour in around my photo a little bit more. And now I'm trying to figure out what else I could do. I love these Project Life cards. I pulled these out at the beginning because they matched my photos. And there was one on there that said Today's Adventures. And I just loved it, but it just wouldn't really fit. I should have planned it in as part of my layout at the beginning, rather than trying to add in a great big 3x4 inch journaling card now. It's just a bit too late now, isn't it? But it would have been really perfect. I could have written my journaling onto that Today's Adventures card. It would have been lovely. So anyway, lesson learned. I will make sure I pull out my Project Life cards and actually try and use them at the beginning of a layout rather than at the end next time. So I'm just going through the exclusive ephemera and working out which bits will work on this photo with this layout. I'm just going through and really just looking at colours. Now, if I have phrases on them that don't work, that's fine. I can cover up the phrases, or I can cut them in half and tuck them behind my photos. But the colours were really important to me here. And you can see I pulled out a load of little word and labels. They're all going to go on my stars in the background. I've pulled out, I've stuck down the word fun from the Pink Fresh Studio, just a little lovely phrase stickers. I've stuck that directly onto my layout, and then I thought I would add fun and day, so I've got fun day. But I've mounted the day because it was going to have to go over my layout, my photo and my tassels, but it didn't look right with the one that wasn't mounted and the one that was mounted. So I decided to ditch the word day, and I'm going to add the other words that I'd like to add for my title using other letters that came in this month's kit, the July kit. So rather than use any more of the words from the Pink Fresh Studio phrases, the ones that are already decided for you, I thought I would add some words of my own. So I'll come back to that in just a moment. So I'm just adding in my label stickers. I wanted to get everything stuck down and kind of ready to go. Normally I forget to stick these things down. They're all in place and I forget to stick them down, and then last minute I pick up my layout and oh no, they're not stuck. Yeah, just making sure everything's stuck in place. I've traced all those on foam pads, as you just saw. Now I am coming in with this, my Pink Fresh Studio white alphabet stickers. So they are just white puffy alphas. Now I've got a white background, so white on white isn't going to show up too well. So I thought I would use another piece of the mixed media paper that I had, an offcut from there, and I've stuck them all onto a piece of that mixed media paper, and I've just cut around it, trimmed around the letters, so you can see that I now have the word birthday, and it stands out against the background rather than the white letters. And I thought it would be a good look to tuck it under the loop of the F. So I have birthday fun as my title, and they're looped together. So with the big ascender, like the letter F in this word fun, it's quite tricky to get your letters above it, a word above it. So actually that works perfectly to poke it through the loop of the F. And now I'm coming in with these amazing teeny tiny puffy yellow alphas by Pink Fresh Studio. That's from the Office Hours collection, and I just added in one today. And they're all the same size, and there was no descenders to deal with under the word fun. I could tuck it in next to the F, So yeah, I've just used my lovely little yellow letters. They're perfect. They go really well with my colour scheme to add my one today subtitle. So back to punches. I wanted a few more teeny tiny hearts. There was one navy heart in the exclusive ephemera, but I needed more than one. So I pulled out one of my other punches that has multiple shapes on it, one of which is a little heart. It's not exactly the same size as the one that was in the ephemera, but it's close enough. So I've just gone and punched a load of those out of the navy paper. I've tried to avoid the pink loops, so that I've just got navy, and I've stuck those all over my background as well. So my background's really come together. I really love the way that it looks. It looked a bit bare when it was just stars, but now it's got a whole load of other things going on too. And I've also added in the Pink Fresh Studio enamel dots too in the navy. So the final thing that I'm doing now is just adding in a little bit of journaling with a very fine black pen, and that is me done. So thank you so much for joining me today. This was quite a long video in the end. It took me a long time to make this layout. And I hope you'll give this mixed media technique a try. So I say thank you so much for joining me today. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.